What's going on, everyone? Today's deep dive is all about best mobile proxy for Instagram, manage accounts, scrape and automate without bans, 2026. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step, so by the end of this, you'll have a really solid understanding. Let's go. Instagram is one of the hardest platforms on the modern internet to manage at scale, whether you are running multiple client accounts as an agency, growing a portfolio of niche pages, scraping public profile data for research, or automating engagement. You are going up against one of the most sophisticated anti-bot systems in the industry. The single biggest factor that separates accounts that survive and accounts that get banned is the network you connect from. That is where mobile proxies come in. In this guide, I will walk you through exactly why mobile proxies matter for Instagram, how they actually work in practice, what to look for when choosing a provider, how to structure your accounts in sticky sessions, the workflows for management, scraping, and automation, the common pitfalls that get accounts banned, and real-world examples of setups that hold up. Let's start with what is actually happening on Instagram's side. Instagram is owned by Meta, which means it has access to one of the most advanced device and network fingerprinting stacks ever built. When you log into Instagram, the platform records dozens of signals, your IP and its reputation, your device's hardware identifiers if you are on the app, your browser fingerprint if you are on web, your behavioral patterns like how fast you scroll, what you tap, what you skip, your account history like which devices and IPs have logged in before, and the relationships between your account and other accounts that share any of those signals. When something looks off, Instagram does not always ban immediately. It often shadow bans, throttles, asks for SMS verification, or pushes you into a checkpoint. Each of those is a warning sign. One very ready are lite to whichever the ones está there control over. If you log into 10 different Instagram accounts from the same data center IP, you are linking those accounts together, and Instagram knows it. If those accounts then engage with each other, the link gets stronger. Eventually, you hit a threshold, and the whole cluster goes down at once. This is why account managers who care about longevity do not use VPNs, do not use shared residential proxies, and do not share IPs across accounts. They use mobile proxies with one sticky session per account, and they treat each account like a real person with a real phone. A mobile proxy in this context is a proxy server that exits through a real cellular connection. The IP belongs to a carrier like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, Singtel, StarHub, MTN, Vodafone, or whichever local carrier the proxy sits on. Because of carrier-grade NAT, that IP is shared with thousands of real phone users at any given moment. From Instagram's perspective, the IP looks like a regular consumer mobile connection because it is. Mobile IPs have the strongest reputation profile of any IP type on the internet because banning one would also ban thousands of innocent users. Instagram does not want that, so mobile IPs get the benefit of the doubt in ways that residential and data center IPs do not. If you are running an agency with 5 clients and each client wants to grow their Instagram, you cannot use a single VPN across all of them. You will lose accounts. You need 5 clean mobile IPs, each persistent for its corresponding account. If you are doing public profile scraping for research, you need rotating mobile IPs to avoid rate limits. If you are running automation tools that follow, like, comment, or DM on your behalf, you need a mobile proxy that holds session for at least the duration of your automation cycle. And if you are doing all of the above at once, you need infrastructure that lets you provision proxies on demand, manage credentials cleanly, and swap IPs when something goes wrong. Let's get into the step-by-step of building an Instagram setup that actually works. Step 1 is account separation. Every account needs its own browser profile or its own dedicated device. Use an anti-detect browser like Multi-Login, GoLogin, AdsPower, Dolphin Anti, or Incogniton and create one profile per account. Set the time zone, language, and screen resolution to match the proxy's location. Step 2 is proxy assignment. Buy one mobile proxy port per account and assign it to that profile permanently. Use the same proxy every single login. Do not rotate, do not share. Step 3 is sticky session control. Configure your proxy with a sticky session window long enough to cover a normal browsing session, typically 30 minutes to a few hours. Some mobile proxy providers let you set sticky duration via a session ID in the username. Others give you an explicit sticky endpoint. Read the docs. Step 4 is account warm-up. New accounts on new IPs need to look human for the first few weeks. Browse the feed, like a few posts, follow a few accounts, watch some reels. Do not jump straight into automation. Step 5 is automation cadence. If you are using third-party tools to automate engagement, set conservative limits. Instagram's publish limits are not the actual safe limits. Aim for 50 to 100 engagements per day per account. Spread across the day with natural pauses. Check each account daily for shadow ban signals, action blocks, or unusual login alerts. Watch your proxy logs for connection failures or IP changes mid-session. Step 7 is handling problems. If an account gets a temporary action block, stop all automation on it immediately and let it rest for at least 72 hours. Verify by SMS if Instagram asks. If the account stays clean for a week, you can resume slowly. If you have repeated issues on the same proxy, swap to a different mobile IP from your provider's pool because something about that specific IP has been flagged. Step 8 is the long game. Treat each account as an asset that takes months to build and seconds to lose. The right mobile proxy and the right account hygiene are the difference between a portfolio that grows and one that constantly bleeds. When choosing a mobile proxy provider for Instagram, there are a few things to look for. First, the carrier mix. Some providers concentrate on one or two carriers, which means if Instagram throttles that carrier's IP range, your whole setup is affected. A good provider has multiple carriers and lets you choose. Second, the geo. Match your proxy geo to your account audience. If the account targets the US, use a US mobile IP. If it targets Singapore, use a Singapore mobile IP. Geo mismatch is one of the easiest ways to get flagged. Third, sticky session support. You need at least 30 minutes of stickiness and ideally configurable up to several hours. Fourth, IP rotation control. You should be able to rotate on demand via an API or a link in case an IP gets flagged. Fifth, port level dedicated access. Avoid services that share a single port across all customers. You want at least a dedicated port per account, even on shared SIM pools. Sixth, real customer support. Mobile proxy issues are common and a responsive provider saves you hours. Evan will talk about the common pitfalls. The first one is using residential proxies for Instagram and assuming they will work as well as mobile. They will not. Residential is better than data center, but mobile is significantly better than residential for the hardest accounts. Save residential for low-stakes work. The second pitfall is rotating IPs too aggressively. Some people set their proxy to rotate every 5 minutes, thinking it adds anonymity. It actually breaks Instagram's session model and triggers extra checks. Use sticky sessions and let the IP stay stable. The third pitfall is using the same mobile proxy across multiple accounts. The whole point of mobile proxies for Instagram is one IP per account. If you cheap out and share, you are linking accounts and the next ban wave will take them all. The fourth pitfall is ignoring time zone and language settings. If your IP says you are in New York and your browser says it is set to Asia/Bangkok with Thai language, Instagram notices. Align everything. The fifth pitfall is using mobile proxies but forgetting about device fingerprinting. The IP is one signal of many. If you log into 10 accounts from the same browser without an anti-detect profile, the device fingerprint links them regardless of the proxy. Use proper isolation tools. Another pitfall is running automation that is too aggressive, too fast. Instagram tolerates a small amount of automation if it looks human. It does not tolerate the same script firing 200 follow requests per hour on a new account. Pace your tools, start small and scale up over weeks. Yet another pitfall is using cracked or shady automation tools that ship with hard-coded user agents, predictable timing, or unencrypted API calls. These tools have been fingerprinted by Instagram and the entire user base of those tools gets banned together. Use mainstream tools or build your own with proper humanization. Let me give you real-world examples. A social media agency in Singapore runs 40 client accounts. Each one has a dedicated mobile proxy port on a Singapore carrier, an anti-detect browser profile, and a conservative automation schedule. Their account loss rate is under 5% per year, which is excellent for this industry. A scraping startup pulls public Instagram profile data for influencer marketing analysis. They use rotating mobile proxies across multiple geos with retry logic and rate limiting that respects Instagram's behavior. They process millions of profiles per month without serious blocks. A solo creator running 10 themed niche pages tried to do it cheap with a shared residential proxy and a single browser. He lost 6 accounts in 3 months. He switched to mobile proxies with proper isolation and has not lost an account in 9 months. The cost was higher. The account survived. The portfolio kept growing. There is also a defensive use case I want to mention. If you are an Instagram user who values privacy, mobile proxies can be useful for general browsing without revealing your home IP. They are overkill for most personal use, but they exist as an option. More commonly, brands and agencies use mobile proxies for competitive intelligence, where they want to see what their competitors' followers see, including ads and recommended content, without linking that browsing to their own brand account. Let me dig into some technical details that often separate accounts that survive from accounts that die. The first is how Instagram detects related accounts. The platform maintains a graph of associations between accounts based on dozens of signals. Same device fingerprint, same IP at the same time, same engagement targets, same posting patterns, same recovery email or phone, same logins from the same physical area. When Instagram bans one account, it often runs a cascade query across the graph to find associated accounts and applies action blocks to all of them. The way to defeat this is to break the association graph. Each account needs a unique device fingerprint via the anti-detect browser, a unique mobile IP via your sticky session per port, unique recovery details where possible, and behavioral diversity. If you bulk create accounts from a template, you build the graph yourself and hand it to Instagram on a plate. The second technical detail is API endpoint behavior. Instagram uses a private API that handles every action in the app. Each endpoint has its own rate limit, its own challenge model, and its own anti-abuse heuristics. The endpoints that get accounts banned fastest are the social action endpoints like follow, unfollow, like, and direct message. The endpoints that are more tolerant are read-only ones like media feed and profile view. If you are automating, you want to keep your write action volume conservative and pace it across the day. Automation tools that fire bursts of writes get caught quickly. The third technical detail is the difference between web and app sessions. Instagram's web client is more easily fingerprinted because of canvas, fonts, and WebGL signals. The mobile app uses a different set of signals, including device IDs from Android or iOS. Many serious account managers run app emulators or rooted devices because the app session has slightly different signal weights. For most use cases, anti-detect browsers on web are fine if configured carefully. But if you are scaling to large portfolios, devices or emulators are worth considering. The fourth detail is the carrier mix. Different mobile carriers have different IP reputation profiles with Instagram. US Tier 1 carriers like Verizon and T-Mobile tend to have very strong reputation. Tier 2 MVNOs sometimes get cleaner ranges that are even less scrutinized. Singapore carriers have generally excellent reputation. Some emerging market carriers have weaker reputation because their ranges have been associated with more abuse historically. When choosing a mobile proxy provider, ask about the carrier mix and pick one that matches your audience and reputation needs. The fifth detail is mobile proxy port density per modem. Some providers run multiple ports off a single modem. This is not necessarily bad if the SIM is fresh and the rotation is well managed, but it can be a risk if Instagram correlates the port level behavior at the modem level. A dedicated modem per account is the gold standard, but it costs more. For most users, shared modem with dedicated port is a reasonable compromise. Let me cover a few additional pitfalls that I see often. Pitfall 6 is using purchased aged accounts on fresh mobile proxies without proper warm-up. Aged accounts have a history of logging in from specific networks. Suddenly appearing on a brand new mobile IP can trigger a verification challenge. Warm aged accounts slowly. Pitfall 7 is reusing recovery phone numbers across multiple accounts. The number itself becomes a strong association signal. Use unique numbers via SMS verification services, or treat them as a recovery resource that ties accounts together intentionally only when you want them tied. Pitfall 8 is logging into Instagram from the same anti-detect browser profile from two different physical locations on the same day. The IP is the proxy, but the geolocation of your physical machine can leak through other signals like WebRTC. Disable WebRTC in your anti-detect profile and make sure your local network does not betray your real location. Pitfall 9 is failing to handle Instagram's progressive challenge system. The platform escalates from soft challenges like email confirmation to hard ones like ID verification. Each challenge pass strengthens the account. Each failed or ignored challenge weakens it. Treat challenges as work items that need to be resolved promptly. Pitfall 10 is using bot software that has been compromised. Some popular Instagram automation tools have had their entire user bases banned in a single wave after Instagram fingerprinted the tool's behavior. Pick mainstream, actively maintain tools, or build your own. But a subtle pitfall is over-investing in proxy quality while under-investing in account warm-up. The proxy is necessary but not sufficient. An account that has never browsed the feed, never liked a post, never followed a peer, never received a DM, just shows up doing automated work, will get caught regardless of how clean the proxy is. The warm-up period is where you build the signal that this account is a real human. Spend 2 to 4 weeks just being a normal user before scaling any automation. Another subtle pitfall is forgetting to update your anti-detect profile when Instagram changes its detection model. Anti-detect browsers periodically push updates with new spoofing techniques. Make sure your profiles are using current versions and current device fingerprints. Outdated profiles stand out. Want to give you a few more real-world examples? A multi-account e-commerce growth team manages 30 Instagram accounts to drive traffic to a single Shopify store. Each account has its own niche and persona, its own mobile proxy port, and its own posting rhythm. They use a custom internal tool to schedule posts with human-like timing variation. Their bans have dropped from 3 accounts per month to under 1 per quarter since they tightened their proxy and profile hygiene. A research firm scrapes public Instagram profile data for influencer pricing. They use rotating mobile proxies across 5 carriers, with retry logic that backs off when they see rate limits. They have processed millions of profiles per month for years. A solo creator who runs 5 hyper-niche meme pages had no automation at all, just manual posting from a single browser with a single VPN. 3 accounts got banned in 2 months. He switched to anti-detect browser plus per-account mobile proxies. Still manual, and the ban stopped entirely. The lesson here is that even without automation, the network and device layer matters. A final example. A SaaS founder running an Instagram analytics tool needed reliable access to public profiles for his customers. He started with residential proxies, ran into rate limits, then moved to a mobile proxy provider with a rotating pool. His customer-facing API uptime improved from 92% to 99.5%, and his churn dropped because customers stopped seeing failed requests. The infrastructure choice directly translated into business outcome. What Ossets will cover a few frequently asked questions. How many Instagram accounts can I run on one mobile proxy port? The honest answer is 1. If you care about longevity, People try to push more, and they usually pay for it in bans within weeks. How much does a good mobile proxy cost for Instagram? Typically $40 to $100 per month per dedicated port from a reputable provider, depending on geo, carrier, and SLA. Cheaper options exist, but they cut corners. How long should a sticky session be for Instagram? Long enough to cover a normal user session, typically 30 minutes to a few hours. Some power users go longer for accounts that need very consistent IP behavior. Should I use 4G or 5G mobile proxies? Both work. The signal quality and IP rotation behavior is similar. 5G is slightly faster, which mostly does not matter for Instagram workflows. That's straight up with the You can, but for sustained scraping, you want a separate proxy from your management accounts because scraping has different rate limits and risk profiles. Mixing them on one port can cascade a scraping rate limit into account problems. What if my account gets a temporary action block? Stop all activity on the account for at least 72 hours. Do not switch proxies in panic. Switching adds another anomaly to the signal cluster and can make things worse. Wait, then resume slowly. How do I know if my proxy is the problem versus my account behavior? Test by logging into the account from a different fresh mobile proxy on the same carrier. If the issue follows the account is the problem. If it follows the proxy is the problem. Most issues are account behavior, not proxy quality. Once you have a baseline of decent mobile proxies, alright, that is everything for today on Best Mobile Proxy for Instagram. We covered why mobile proxies matter, how Instagram's anti-bot system thinks, how to structure your accounts in sticky sessions, the workflow for management and scraping, the pitfalls that lose accounts, and real-world setups that hold up. If you want to go deeper on mobile proxy providers, sticky session configuration, and account warm-up strategies, head over to dataresearchtools.com for our full library. Until next time, take care and keep those accounts alive.